Okay, we're going to quote this house for termites. In order to quote it for termites, I have to measure the linear footage because whenever we treat a house for termites, we treat the soil around the linear footage of the house. I'm going to be quoting these people for termite treatment using a product called Taurus SC, this bad boy right here. I'm going to show you how to quote this house 2 different ways today. We're going to do it by measuring the old-fashioned way with a wheel, a pen and paper. We're going to draw the graph on my termite inspection report here. That was 28 feet. So you just come to your graph and count off 28 feet. We're going to measure this porch, not because it really matters for the treatment. We're just treating the soil, but we still want to make an accurate graph. The rest of the house is a crawl space. So just a quick estimate measurement of the porch, 6 feet. 8 feet. To reset the wheel, you just click that little button down there. Then we just denote a little 6x8 square. In general, guys, you want to be as accurate as possible. Of course, we want to give the customer an accurate quote, but you do not have to get down to the inches. Just round to the nearest foot is going to be good enough for the treatment. That was 38 feet. That one was also 38 feet. I'll show you what I've got here so far. 28 feet, 38 feet. There's the porch. There's my next 38 foot. And the good thing about most houses is that they are built on right angles. Sometimes you get some crazy, like, weird polygon shaped houses with crazy architects on those custom designed homes. So this is a detached porch here. It's not part of the actual structure. We're not treating this for termites. I'm still going to measure it so we know that it's there, but we're not going to treat that for termites, so it's not going to be included in the quote. But it actually doesn't change the linear footage either way. This fence is about a foot from the house there, so I am going to add a foot to this measurement here. That was 29, so I'm adding a foot to make it 30. 8, 18, 28, 30. And then it comes out again. That was 12. I did the termite inspection earlier, and actually, so here's the porch here, guys. I'm going to denote it with just this dotted line. The crawl space entrance is right under there, so I do want to note on the graph here where the crawl space entrance is, and all I do to do that is just make these 2 lines into the foundation, and that lets the technician know where the crawl space is. As long as you get all the measurements right, it's hard to mess up the graph. I've messed up plenty of graphs before. Not to say that it's easy, but once you get enough practice, it's not that bad. It does take a little bit of time to walk around the house though. As long as we're here doing the free termite inspection, we might as well, in my opinion, measure out the house and give the customer a paper quote. But a lot of times when a customer calls on the phone and they're like, hey, I have termites, I just need a quote, I don't come out here and give them a quote. I just quote them over the phone using the system I'm going to show you how to do in just a second, not in person measuring with a measuring wheel. To continue along here, 28 feet again. This architect must have liked 28 and 38 feet measurements. Fine by me. I'm almost 10 feet away from the house here. And if you see up there, there's more landscaping coming out. Stay away from the house and try to stay the same 10-foot distance away from the house throughout the measurement. That's 42 feet there. And I assume that's where the garage slab starts again. 32, 42, perfect. And we're going to go ahead and make a dotted line here. Then that's going to denote where the concrete slab starts again. And then I'll note on here, crawl space. And then we're just gonna finish measuring this. But if I've done it correctly, it should just be a right angle, straight line from here, and a straight line from here. So I guess I'll just check my measurements. Slab, okay, so there's your house. Went a little bit off the page, no big deal. We're going to mark up here what we found in the termite inspection that I did just a couple minutes earlier. They did not have any termites, they just want an estimate though. We did not find any of these. I always mark possible hidden damage or infestation. It's always possible with termites, but we do our best to inspect. No visible signs of termites found. We checked that up there. They did not have excessive moisture. They did not have substandard inspection conditions. That just means that the crawl space is really low to the ground and I can't inspect it or something weird like that. Now that we have the graph and all the measurements, we're just going to need a calculator to calculate the quote. What I go ahead and do normally is as soon as I finish the graph, we always use Taurus SC. I might as well just type that into the graph because we use it for every single termite treatment. But customers do like to know what product you're using, so I feel like if I handwrite it there, it's a little more personal. Now we have to calculate the square footage and linear footage. So I need a calculator for that, which I always use my phone for. We're in the office now. I'm about to finish up this paper quote for the customer. So the grand finale, we need the linear footage. Sometimes I calculate the square footage too. This is more for like termite pre-construction treatments. We need to calculate the square footage. And to calculate the linear footage, if you think about it, what you need is the distance from here to here on a structure and the distance from here to here, the width and the height, and you multiply this number times 2, and you multiply this number times 2. So to get this whole portion here, 12 plus 38 is 50, plus 28 is 78. You can do this now or later. 78 times 2 is 156. So that's this, and all this is 156. Now we need the linear footage of this, and this, which is 60. 22 plus 38 is 60. We do that times 2 to get 120. So the linear footage of this home is 156 plus 120, which is a larger home, I would say, in general, 276 linear feet. Because this house is a crawl space, my company, we quote crawl space homes at $6.25 per linear footage of treatment. I'm not going to go into how I came up with that price. We can do that on another day. But what we need to do is 6.25 times 276 equals 1725 for this person's quote for a termite treatment. All of our quotes come with a lifetime warranty as long as you get the annual termite inspection done and pay your monthly warranty. What if I told you that there was a quicker way to quote a house for termites without ever even going to someone's house in the first place? That is the second half of this video that I'm very excited to show you about. So now that I showed you the old school way on how to quote a home for termites, I'm going to show you the new school way, which is much quicker and just as accurate as using a graph. Sometimes maybe even more accurate if you're not good at drawing graphs. Then this method may be your go-to option. I'm in the BrioStack Tech app now, so I can do this on my phone. I'm going to have it pulled up in a phone mode, but I am actually at my office doing this on the computer. It's gonna work the same either way. So I go to the appointment that's on my schedule. Say I just have a termite inspection on my schedule. Click start. As soon as you click start, you're under the service category. You go to create diagram there. And then once it loads up, you say, yes, I want the measurements visible. And yes, I want to see the satellite view. And you scroll over to the house that maybe, hey, the technician inspected it. He said there's no termites. This is going to save you a ton of time. This is what you need to do. Go right to the edge of the house there. Looks like it's right there. Into the porch. Remember, you have to go under the eaves. 27 feet. We calculated 28 feet. That's right at it. Over across that front portion of the house, 38 feet. That's exactly what we got there. Over to the back of the house, 38 feet again. Across the side, that one was 30, 29.4. This is super accurate, guys. Up there, 12 feet. We got exactly 12 feet. Over here, 32 feet. All the way, we're gonna go all the way up to the top of the house there, 72 feet, and then back over to the starting point. And then say we want this to be colored in gray. Click that gray area there, click filled in, and then it's gonna fill it in there. And if you look down at the bottom right, guys, see that? 275.3 linear feet. We got 276 linear feet. So that is incredibly, incredibly accurate. That's all we needed to do to quote this house for termites. Then you just go 275 or 276 times $6.25, and you're going to get the same quote. This took me seconds, whereas the walking around, measuring, writing it down on this piece of paper took me maybe 10 or 15 minutes. So say you wanted to make sure people know that this is a crawl space. You type in crawl space. We can also note that this section is the slab here. Instead of red, let's make this one, let's make it gray. And then add text right there. Slab. And then last thing I'll show you, you can draw like an arrow, for example, right there. Let's make this one yellow. Put a text over here that says crawl space entrance. You go up to the top left here, click save and close. Then we're just gonna finish completing the appointment like normal. And then we can just write the note on here for the customer, or we can just make it an internal note and we can call the customer. I like to call the customers for termite quotes. Quoted for termites, $1,725 for an initial treatment, $19 a month. You could also put this in the notes for the customer, of course. I'm not going to say that one way is better than the other. Of course, there are benefits to doing the paper graph. Older customers like paper copies of things. And if you're at the house already, might as well hand them something tangible that they can look at. But if you're on the phone quoting a customer, if you run out of paper, if the customer is younger and they want a quote via an appointment record PDF file that was sent on the email, you can do that also. So BriosTech makes it really easy to be flexible with your customers, which is very important in a customer service industry like pest control. This is a crawl space home today. If it's a slab house, we use less chemical because we don't have to treat the soil in the crawl space. I quote $5.25 per linear footage for a concrete slab home treatment, if you were wondering about that. But if it's crawl space, we do $6.25. So thank you guys so much for watching me show you how to quote a house for termites. And let me know if you have any questions, and I will talk to you soon.